Hello, everybody. My name is Saskia, and today I have a cine talk with Hussein Khayat. And I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit to get started?
Yes. So I'm Hussein. I'm a filmmaker, and I'm 28 years old and currently live in Maastricht. And and pretty much lived my whole life here in Limburg. So I grew up here, and other than that, I think that's the short introduction of myself.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So you definitely know your way around here in Maastricht, but also in
Yes.
Heerlen. And could you say a little bit about what your film, The Unseen Evolution, is about?
It's about, well, it started back in 2019. It started as a project for Cultura Nova, and they were looking for to basically have a project, and it was free form. You could do whatever you want. Also, the form itself was free. To put Heerlen in like a more positive light, especially for younger people, because younger people always have a kind of like perception about Heerlen that there's not much to do, that it is quite an empty city, and also that it has kind of a bad reputation because of its past. But we the project itself want to show that no, Heerlen is not like this. There's much more going on behind the scenes, as it were. So me and three other basically students, because back in the time I was still a student, decided to make a installation, a multimedia installation consisting in parts, and it took place in the Royal Theater and the Royal Cinema. And the reason for to take place there was for me mostly because it's a nostalgic factor, because for me the interest in film started there, because when I was a young kid I was used to go to the cinema there, and there my interest started. Also, just like the being in the cinema, the feeling of being transported into a new world, that just excited me. And that's why we chose that spot. And also it wasn't being used, so we could choose it as a place for the installation. And the installation consisted of parts, four short videos, and a photography, like a series of photography of the architecture in Heerlen, and a poem by a young poem writer about the city. But so it was successful. We did it, and then fast forward to this year, 2021, I decided to combine two of those videos, one like the painter and one about the dancer, because those two, when we did it, we got the most feedback of those two. Those two were like most interested. It's interesting parts, and also I wanted to choose those because the other two were about a young filmmaker, as the topic was a startup company, and the other one was a DJ. And also, I didn't want to. I liked also the contrast between a painter and a dancer, because they're all or actually the DJ would be the same, but but the painter and the dancer, that there's a high contrast between them, but the passion is the same. Oh, actually, the passion in any uh, creative people is the same, and that's why there is similarities in that way. But also how the way they talked about Heerlen was really passionate, and they wanted to show, especially the painter, he talked about the history about Heerlen and why it is perceived in a negative fashion, but that behind the scenes they're trying to make Heerlen more, for example, with the murals, and that's what he talks about. And the dancer talks about the dancing culture, the hip hop culture in Heerlen, that it has an urban feeling to it, and that it tries to uh, become an urban city, a real city for younger people to explore it in that fashion. And yeah, that's basically the gist of the film. That's the message of the film, and that's 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 the synopsis, I would say. So that's the reason behind it, and that's how it started back in 2019 and evolved now in becoming a short film.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
very, very interesting. How
Yeah.
did you first get in touch with the painter and the dancer?
The painter through an old teacher of his, because he used to study directing. But yeah, he made me come in contact with him, so it was through him. So because before that I didn't know him, but then I saw like, oh, he did that big mural. I was like, oh, how did I not know him? And also he did a couple of murals here in Maastricht, so he's like in the area he's a well-known like artist. Yeah, that's how. And the dancer I contacted, like I always wanted to make something like this, like to make a short film about the dancer. So I contacted HFC, and that's like a dance studio in Heerlen, and they gave me Emil Janssen, the dancer in the film, to participate in there because he was like uh, their choice. So they gave me his name, they gave me his contact, and then I started talking to him, and it built up. We built up like a sort of relationship, and he was really interested. He was passionate to do it, so that's how it got formed. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
By focusing on the painter and the dancer, your film immediately has this focus on the urban and street art style of the film. Is that something that you think characterizes Heerlen the most at the moment?
At the moment, yes, I think so. And also like it's it's building to become like that. And I like that. I love that because I think they're more, especially younger people, should see that because I still think it's still down below. Like it's still got. I mean, IBE, for example, International Breakdance Event is really big. Is basically the biggest, one of the biggest in Europe, and that takes place in Heerlen. That's really special. So, but like for the Netherlands itself, always when I mention Heerlen to like when I did internship in Amsterdam or whatever, like, oh, Heerlen, you know, like there's this and it needs good to be gone. I suppose that's why it's actually good, like the urban character. That's, I think personally, more interesting for younger people. So more younger people would go to Heerlen to start to make startups, to start things, to change it. You know, that's that's the theme of it. Yes.
You yourself, how have you experienced the developments of the city in the past years?
Let me think about that. Especially the younger companies, I think, because when I was young, I didn't hear anything about that. So I think that's new. Like the Carbon 6 place, that there's like a lot of young people that go there to start companies. I think before, like maybe what in the early 2000s, there was nothing like that. I think. Well, I didn't hear about it, and also just like. What do you mean? Like where I have to think about. Yeah, like cultural things, like events, for example. It started to get more and more, starting from early 2010s, for example. Before that, there was like only there was a cinema, there was a mall, and that's it. So I think that like there were more events coming up for especially for the younger culture, younger people. Yeah.
So if someone would tell you now, like, oh, Heerlen,
Yeah.
what would you tell them? Like one thing, like to advertise Heerlen.
Okay.
Is it the street art and the urbanity?
Wait, one word or?
Maybe in one main characteristic. That would be the
What main
urbanity.
characteristic? I would say what do you call it? Like the don't I would say I would say like you talk about that, but go and visit it and see for yourself.
For yourself.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you can, of course, you can see online things, but like to go there and see it for yourself, like see just like the environment, because Heerlen has like this like from if you see it like in one go, you think, oh, it's not such a pretty city, but if you look deeper, you see the prettiness into it. Like for example, also in the film, I show the first couple of things. Okay, it seems empty, but still there's this beauty to it, and in some weird way. So and that's the urban characteristic, I would say. Like, it has these really urban vibes to it, and that I think that's beautiful. That's a city needs to have that. And in some ways, it even has more characteristic than, for example, Amsterdam. I think personally, because of that way, because of these areas, these sometimes you think, oh, it looks kind of like, I mean, that's extreme comparison, but it looks like a bit like New York or some areas.
Yeah.
So I think that's more interesting than the gracht.
Yeah, it has edges.
Yes.
Give it
yes. Yes. So I would say just go visit. Yes, I would just go. I say try it before you judge it. Yeah.
Yeah, that for sure.
Yeah.
If you had a wish regarding the development of Heerlen as a city, what would that be? Maybe something apart from the street art style and urbanity, maybe something that they should still improve or
improve. Let me think. Well, bring back the Royal cinemas. I mean, it's kind of back, but not completely. But I think even more events. I would like to see, like, different kind of events. But other than street art, let me think. More maybe just expanding it, I would say. Just make it like that, not make the city bigger, but make the places bigger. Like, maybe like, instead of only one place, for example, Carbon 6, make another one somewhere else to make it more connected, and not only just one place in the city itself. And also I would say more cinemas. Not because now there's only two. Yeah, there's only two. So add more of these, or more events for film. And the museum, like, maybe add like more to that, I would say, because there is a museum there, of course, but it's not on the map, I think. Sometimes they have good last time they had Basquiat, so that was really interesting. But yeah, make it more bigger. Like, for example, the Basquiat thing, it got big because it's Basquiat. So get more like that kind of and then people would go more to Heerlen if they see, like, oh, there's some big artist there that's showing his art or something like that. So I would say more like that.
Yeah, they already made a very good start. So they just have to now deepen it and explore it even more. Is it something that you could imagine for future projects as well, to focus more on other cities in your region, maybe also in Belgium or?
I like that. Yeah, I would be interested in that. Yes. Yeah.
Do you already have something in mind, maybe?
At the moment, not really. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Every story has its story. Every city has its story. So just delving into, like, I like just focusing on a person and his perspective, for example, on the cities. That I like that aspect. So I would say it could be a series. Like, it could be different cities, different aspects, and different kind of people. It doesn't have to be an artist. It could be just like a local guy, like a local shop owner, for example, his viewpoint on the city. Like, I find those deep personal stories really interesting. So I would say maybe it's something like that. But also I like, currently I have a focus on the dancing, because I like just the movement of it, and the visuality of it, and also the compassion. You see every compassion in the movement of dance. So right now I'm actually thinking about doing like a short film about 3 types of dancers. So totally different, like ballet,
nice.
modern dancer, and for example, a breakdancer, but I'm still figuring out if that's the case. So modern, so to show the contrast between these three, and maybe to create something like choreography between them, about like the current circumstance. It's also like it's a story about like the circumstance we're in right now, and how they feel, and that they tell the story in the form of dance. So I think that I'm thinking about that, something like that currently. But as I said, like, yeah, the city thing, I find, and also like in connection with the city, like where each dancer lives, for example, yeah, that's also part. But I like those, I like those deep personal stories about people that you wouldn't necessarily look at, or you say, oh, that's a shop owner, yeah, whatever, but then he has like, or she has a real story, and yeah, things like that.
Yeah, that's a really nice approach, because it's true. Sometimes you walk through the city and you always think the world is just turning around yourself, and then you think, no, the shop owner has a story too,
everyone
of
has
course.
a story.
That's really nice to put these people in the spotlight, as you did now as well, with the dancer and the painter in this film, and of course the city, Heerlen. Well, thank you for your amazing answers. That was really cool and really nice listening to. And we already approached the end of this talk. It always, I say it every time.
It goes by
fast. It always goes super fast. So at this point, of course, I want to mention again that The Unseen Evolution is one of the 8 Euroregion films that's part of the Euroregion Film Festival official film selection. And it can be watched from 1st March to 7th March online. People can buy their tickets and access all the films, and then watch them as often as they like. And then, of course, also watch the Cine Talk afterwards. Do you have a message to the audiences of your film?
Enjoy it.
That's for sure.
Enjoy it, and participate, like become part of like any city, really. That's the message of the film, like become part of its story, because even if you live in a city, you're already part of the story. You're already part of the story of the city. But also like just participate. I would say like the message of the film is participation, adding to something. If you have if you're motivated to do that, and if you have like anything, but anything, like it doesn't have to be like, oh, I have to be talented. No, it can be anything. So I would say that that's the message.
That's a very nice closing sentence. Thank you very much. Then I agree with you. Enjoy the film and get active and vote for your favorite film. Get active in that too.
Of course.
Well, thank you, Hussein, for your time and for your amazing answers. And
thank you.
Goodbye. Yeah. Well, you're very welcome. Goodbye.